My name is Ben Bills. I'm the Public Information Officer for the El Paso-Teller County 911 Authority. Looking around, it looks like we have some folks from our Public Safety Agency as well as some from the deaf and hard of hearing community in the Independence Center, which is great. I'm glad you all can make it. I would also like to, before we get started, thank the Independence Center and Patricia for letting us use their facility for the press release that we're about to do today, which is releasing that text to 911 is now available in El Paso and Teller counties. So before we get started, what I'd like to do is a short demonstration. Sure, how are you? Do a short demonstration on how this is going to work. I'm going to display my cell phone on the screen, and I'm going to interact with the 911 center that's located downtown in Colorado Springs. Where this is a huge benefit is now the deaf, hard of hearing, and speech impaired communities will all have direct access to 911 should they ever need us. And it's also an alternative method of communication for anybody that's in a situation that it could pose a threat to their safety if they ever have to communicate with 911 and they can't make a voice call. So let's give this a shot. I need to walk away from the mic for a minute. Probably won't rest there, will it? Sorry, Zach. Okay. Perfect. So, in order to make a 911 text call, you have to have a mobile device with a service plan. You have to have a mobile device with a service plan. That's required. So, what you will do is you will open your text app, which is, mine is down here. I will start a new text message, and in the to field, I'm going to enter the 3 digits 911. And I'll turn this to the side, it'll be a little easier to read. And then I would enter the text. So the very first message you should send to 911 should contain the location of your emergency and then the type of help that you need or whatever the situation is. So I'm gonna do a test call. I'm going to use the address 729 South Tejon. And once I send it, it could be anywhere from maybe 30 seconds to a minute. We should have a response back from the 911 center in Colorado Springs. This is also going to be helpful should we get a lot of people that hike. We get a lot of people that go out into the mountains. If a voice call is not possible, but maybe they could get a text message out, that's also beneficial for text to 911. Don't do it. So while we're waiting for them to respond, how this is going to work is once you send the text off to a 911 center, the 911 center receives it. They receive it on a pop-up window that's on one of their many screens that sits in front of them. There we go. If it's safe to do so, you're able to make a voice call to 911. Please do so now. So this is the response from downtown in the city of Colorado Springs. If it's safe to do so, please make a voice call. Oops, I'm going to open that back up. And then I can go back and forth. From here on out would be my direct communication with them. And then once they end the session, you'll get a message that the session has been ended. I'll just tell them to please end the session. Sorry, I'm the worst texter in the world. The sideways texting is not for me. Yeah, we should have brought somebody's 15-year-old in here. They could have showed us the way. So if the text to 911 service was not available to you at the time that you send a text, you will get a bounce back message. The bounce back message will say something to the effect of, text to 911 is not available, please make a voice call now. That's how you'll know that you'll either have to do a video relay call or make a voice call or whatever the situation is, however you would communicate with 911 when text is not available. There we go. Well, they're just going to respond to me and end the session anyway. And once the session is ended, it'll send you an end message that the session has been ended, so you know that your communication with 911 is finished. So with that, I just have a couple of slides for you guys to take a look at, because, of course, with any system, we do have to realize our limitations with technology. I'm going to have to carry 2 mics. Okay. Again, when to text 911 if you're deaf, hard of hearing, or speech impaired or nonverbal. Again, if you make a voice call and it could put you in danger, and again, there's been commercials, I saw them on the Super Bowl, domestic violence, a kidnapping situation, a burglar in your house, those could all pose a threat. So making a voice call could put you in danger, so text to 911 is recommended, and there's the city texting me back now. You can call if you're injured and you cannot speak, or if you're out in a remote area where you cannot get a voice call out to 911. Also, right now, our limitations, photos and videos cannot be sent to 911 at this time. And then text to 911 will only work in the SMS format. So do not add other people to your text message. Mom, dad, brother, sister. Don't text 911 and another person. It changes the format of the message. It takes it from SMS. You'll get a bounce back saying that the text won't work. Don't use abbreviations, emojis, anything like that. Want to be a clear, concise message to 911. Spell it out. Don't abbreviate. And then you must text again with a mobile device that has a service plan on it. If you have old cell phones that maybe you can make a Wi-Fi connection with at home, but you can't make a regular phone call with, those do not text 911. Third-party apps do not work with texting to 911. It has to be the text app on your phone with a service plan. Again, you'll receive the bounce back message if text is not available. Those are all worded a little bit differently according to the carrier or your service provider. In general, they say text to 911 is not available. Please make a voice call now. One other thing that I wanted to point out as well is, of course, with any kind of technology that's out there, there are some little bugs that we are working through right now. We do have one particular instance identified with some iPhones that are out there. We're working with the carrier to figure out why there's an intermittent, why they receive a bounce back message while the service is logged in. So once that piece of the puzzle is fixed, we'll go ahead and update the press release. But right now, iPhones with one of the major providers, with AT&T, we do have recognized an intermittent problem. It's not a won't go through, it's an intermittent issue where the text does not get transmitted to the 911 center and they'll get a bounce back message. And then we've been working with them for a little bit of time now, so hopefully we have a resolution to that soon, and we'll update the press release as that information becomes available. And with that, I would open it up to any questions that somebody may have in the room if we didn't cover something that you wanted to hear about. No questions? Yes, sir.
So this app, what will the public be?
The app, what would the public be able to get the app?
So there is no app for text to 911. Sorry, the 2 microphone thing is messing me up. There is no app for text to 911. When you get your mobile phone and they turn it on at the, barely sitting? Guys, what are we doing here? There is no mobile app, or there's no app for texting. So when you get your phone, there's always a text icon on there. You have to use the text icon for your phone to send the message. You do not need to download any third-party software to send a text to 911. You just use the text app that's built into your phone with the service plan. Yes,
So
ma'am.
will this work across El Paso and Teller County?
This is available in El Paso and Teller counties. If you happen to travel outside of that area where the mics cannot touch. If you happen to travel outside of that area, or let's say you trickle over into Park County, maybe your cell phone will come off of a neighboring county's tower, and if they don't have it, you will receive a bounce back message that says the service is not available. Yes, sir.
Is it possible to volunteer our information to the dispatcher to pre-populate the information? Like a bolo type lookout thing in there, so that way if I text them, they recognize that number, the bolo will come up and say, this is who I am.
So I've got my business cards up here. I'm going to act as a liaison between the Independence Center and some of the 911 dispatchers or 911 dispatch centers that are out there. And the reason is because every center works a little bit differently. As of right now, there's not a registration process that takes place for text to 911. So we want to make sure that everyone knows you have to text your location with the emergency. Again, I can't speak on behalf of each of the 8 911 centers that answer 911 calls. I do know there are some capabilities within their CAD systems to store information, but that would all be according to everybody's policy, and I will work individually to filter information back to those folks as I work with the Independence Center. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any idea of when the other counties around us will have this service?
That I do not. I've racked my brain for over a year to help get it to work here, so I'm not sure outside of El Paso and Teller County how far down the road that they are or what that map's going to look like. I can tell you right now, the map that I looked at before I came over here today, it's about 30% of the state has it right now.
Yes, if you have a phone number from out of state, say you moved here from another state, and you were to call 911, as I understand it, a lot of times it will go back to, it no longer does that.
So if you have an out-of-state mobile number that takes another state number, it should be based off of your physical location. Anybody else? I have copies of some brochures. I have a copy of the press release up here. This map, there are 4 911 centers out of our 8 that are going to guard text to 911. So no matter in the 2 counties, wherever you text from, you're going to be put in touch with a 911 professional that can help you. This map just kind of outlines who's guarding for who. So if you're in El Paso County or Fountain, they all go to the county. Or if you're in the city or Peterson Air Force Base, Colorado Springs, we'll guard for them. So regardless of what your location is in El Paso and Teller County, your text will be answered by a 911 professional that'll be ready to help you. So these are available up here. And then I have business cards for anyone that may have affiliation with the Independence Center, or if they just want a business card, they're here so I can act as the liaison. If you come up with questions on your way home today and you want answers for those, I can filter them back to the appropriate channels and get that answer for you. Great. Did you want to say anything, Patricia?
I hope I can not cry because we've worked for so long to make this happen. And Ben Bills deserves a great deal of credit for being pushy enough and persevering enough to actually make this happen. Deaf people have not had, and hard of hearing people have not had access to 911 services ever. And this is really quite a momentous event for all of us in the community. So we say thank you, Ben, for doing this. And we look forward to texting the next time we have an emergency.
Thank you very much. Great. Do you have a question? She had another one.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Actually, this is for our sheriff.
Okay.
Do you have any means of communicating with hard of hearing or deaf people who've been involved in an accident?
Through the same system. We guard this for all of the counties, so we have the same system.
You misunderstood. I meant if an officer comes upon the accident that's being reported, how do your officers communicate with the deaf and hard of hearing?
She's talking first person.
Yeah.
In sign language interpreters, outside of that,
I don't read signs.
okay. I'm gonna tell you, you guys have a different way
Don't
outside
get
of.
hurt.
I could answer a little bit of that.
Well, actually, I'm the ADA coordinator for El Paso County, so that is something that we are working with your folks, Sheriff. One of the things that you do have is a video phone, okay? But she's referring to, let's say there's an arrest that's made, right? Okay, there's interpreters, and then there's different processes that we're looking into right now, so that, let's say, has anybody in here ever heard of like a UBI system? So in other words, you can type, and then the opposite will be able to read, okay? And then you type back. So we're looking into a less expensive system than that, because that's a pretty pricey system. But that's what we're looking into right now to use across the county. Because sometimes you can't get to that interpreter, you have to give an advance. And well, that doesn't help the situation at hand. So that's one thing that I'm working on, and we're gonna get there. But the sheriff's office has been very active in other areas, and I'm gonna help them get there on that as well.
Sort of a pen and paper swapping the
Right. And that's what they're doing right now.
I just want to make mention too, so I don't want to stray too far off the topic from text to 911. I agree your concerns are important, but there is an access and functional needs working group too that meets in this building. So I would encourage that if you do have concern outside of text to 911 too, that we can work with the appropriate players in that meeting, and we can get those all filtered back to the appropriate people to respond.
Ben, Rob, and we are, yes, hi Michael. We are only asking for the moon here to communicate with people with hearing loss. But what I might suggest as a backup is for the emergency responders to maybe have access to a personal amplification system. People who with hearing loss wear a hearing aid, if they're moving or you need to move for them, can go on their telecoil switch. And you will be able to speak into a little microphone, but there will also be a microphone that the person is using with their hearing aid, or if they don't have a hearing aid. So these are fairly inexpensive, $119 or so. Perhaps you might want to consider having emergency responders have one of these on hand for the person you might be encountering that has a hearing loss. Thank you.
Where did Greg run off to? So is this stuff that we can address during the access and functional needs group meeting? Yeah, again, I don't want to stray too far away from the text to 911 stuff now. I don't want to take away from that because that is a huge event right now for El Paso and Teller County. I wish we had all the time in the world to stand here and address everybody's concerns, but I also want to make sure that they're addressed and thought out and delivered to the right entity so we're not giving misinformation. So does anybody else have anything as it addresses to text to 911 as of right now? Did you have a question?
It's Paul, yeah.
So text to 911, I see how very important that is. And I would like to see maybe a slide, like to translate into ASL, maybe some type of app, an app that we could translate 911 into ASL. It is very important for the deaf community, but many of them, you know, like you said, are not able to call ASL or call the 911. So I just want to say thank you so much. I plan on emailing you.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much. Anybody else? We'll do one more, okay?
And again, thank you, Ben, for being able to be here with us today. And for those in our community who are deaf and hard of hearing, I just want to express the opportunity for you guys to come to talk to Matthew or I here at the center and be able to know that we are working with our police and our sheriff's department here within the county and within our community and our city to be able to access those things and to not only have the opportunity to collaborate with one another, but to build those different resources that are available. And we just recently had a meeting and are doing that equally as well. And so it's an opportunity for you guys to come and work with us, and we're going to be taking your messages back to not only the sheriff, but also to the chief of police and to the departments that they work within.
Perfect. And with that, again, I wanted to thank everybody for showing up. We have a lot of public safety in the room, a lot of folks from the Independence Center. Thank you again, Patricia, for the use of your facility. And if anybody does have any questions, my business cards are up here. Feel free to email me or give our office a phone call. Thank you.